Okay. Okay, good. Okay. Thank you. All right. We're ready.
All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this Tuesday, April the 18th, public meeting of the Board of Garrett County Commissioners. I want to welcome everybody. Full house, nice to see. Thanks for coming out today. I call this meeting to order. If everyone would please stand and say the pledge with me, and then Pastor Kroll will lead us in the invocation. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bow your heads with me, please. Well, Father God, we give you thanks for the pleasant weather and the approach of spring. We're grateful, Lord, for that turning of the seasons, grateful for living in the light of the Easter season as well. We give you thanks, Father, for all the recovery works that are going on in the county. As you know, Father, for our congregation, we pray for Celebrate Recovery regularly. We pray, Father, also regularly for Habitat for Humanity. Give thanks for them as well. And then, Father God, we give you thanks for the commissioners and the work that they're doing. Pray that you continue to make them a blessing, not just to this county, but to the entire region. We ask your guidance. We ask your direction for them. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you. Please be seated. Mr. Knoll, any additions, corrections, public meeting agenda?
No, sir, there are none.
Hearing none, we have a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Motion and a second, agenda approved by mutual consent. Everybody got a copy of the minutes in advance of the meeting. Do we have a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Motion and a second, minutes approved by mutual consent. First item on the agenda, we have several proclamations and recognitions today. The first one is a proclamation for National Library Week, and I don't know, that's you. Thomas, you changed your looks.
He nominated me in his absence.
Congratulations. So we will, I'll read this, and then if you'll come up and accept it, and we'll get some pictures, and you can prove to Thomas you actually were here to accept this on his behalf. National Library Week is April 23rd through the 29th, 2023, whereas National Library Week is an observance by the American Library Association and libraries across the country each April, and is celebrating 65th anniversary with the 2023 theme, There's More to the Story. And whereas Garrett County is home to the Ruth and Lowe Library at Garrett County, with 5 locations that have long served the county as a trusted and treasured resource with library workers who provide programs and services to improve our communities on a daily basis. And whereas Garrett County Library cards are held by more than 15,000 individuals who have, despite COVID-19, borrowed more than 200,000 library items in the past year. And whereas libraries are accessible and inclusive places that promote a sense of local connection, advancing understanding, civic engagement, and shared community goals. And whereas libraries and librarians look beyond their traditional roles and provide opportunities to connect closely with patrons' needs, transforming lives through innovative educational resources, programs, and materials that help develop new lifelong passions. And whereas libraries are cornerstones of democracy, promoting the free exchange of information and ideas for all. Now, therefore, we, the Board of Garrett County Commissioners, do hereby proclaim the week of April 23rd through the 29th, 2023 as National Library Week in Garrett County, and urge the citizens to recognize the value and significant contributions that libraries make to our community, in witness whereof we, the Board of Commissioners, have hereunto set our hand and caused the official seal of Garrett County, Maryland to be affixed, signed by Commissioner Savage, Tichenor, and myself. So you would come up, please. Thank you for your service. We'll set you in
In the middle, we'll get some.
In the middle
just stand
here.
there in the middle and get some
make Larry
pictures.
look a little better.
That's an impossible task. Looking at Sarah.
And if I could just say a couple of things, am I allowed
Absolutely.
to say
You
something?
can say all you want.
Thomas gave me free reign.
All right.
No, we just wanted to say how much we as staff members and library patrons appreciate the funding that you all give to us. I don't know if any of you are aware, but we have over 5,000 people on average who come through our doors in Oakland every month. They save thousands of dollars by being able to borrow things instead of buy them. I have an example for you. Our top family, they moved here 6 years ago. They have checked out in 6 years 18,000 items for a monetary value of $310,000. And if, believe me, they appreciate the library. So we want to let you know that we appreciate your partnership with us in this. And we have a lot of events going on next week for National Library Week. So if you'd like to stop in and participate, we'd love to see you. Thank you so much. I know a lot of you are patrons.
Good stuff. All right, next is Garrett County Recovery Week, and I think we have several people in here. Sadie, I saw you, if you want to come up, and Tom and several members of the Reflection House. If you all would like to come on up. Yep, we'll bring you all up. All are welcome.
Next week.
That's all right. Come on up. Come on up. Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's a lot of people in this room.
Do you need us to squeeze up front, or can we all?
As long as we're.
Come this way. Come this way.
You are too. You are too. You are too. Yeah, we can double up.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe some more of you go around that side so you can get in the picture.
Just squeeze this way.
So before I read this, let me just say, since we have such a robust showing here, thank you all for what you all do and supporting this very needed service and cause in our county. I know you make a difference in a lot of people's lives, so thank you very much. And it is with great pleasure that we offer this proclamation for Garrett County Recovery Week, May 7th through the 13th, 2023. Whereas there exists a national epidemic of untreated substance use disorders in all ages and genders, contributing to homelessness, deterioration of mental and physical health, adult and childhood trauma, destruction of families, crime, and overtaxing of systems such as human service agencies, correctional facilities, foster care, and treatment centers. Whereas it is crucial to increase awareness and education about substance use disorders to reduce the social stigma associated with the disorder and to create a community in which individuals feel comfort and support in seeking treatment. By seeking help, people who experience substance use disorders can embark on a new path toward improved health and overall wellness. And whereas the impact of substance use disorders is apparent in our local community, through the recognition of Recovery Week, people will be more aware and able to recognize the signs of substance use disorders, which can lead more people into treatment. Managing the effects of these conditions can help people achieve a healthier lifestyle and lead rewarding lives in recovery. And whereas Recovery Week will continue to work to improve the lives of those affected by substance use disorders by raising awareness of this disease, reducing the stigma, and educating communities about the prevention, treatment, and recovery resources that are available. Therefore, we, the Board of Garrett County Commissioners, for the above reasons, are asking the citizens of Garrett County to participate in the Walk for Recovery on May 13th, 2023, and observe the week of May 7th through the 13th, 2023, as Garrett County Recovery Week, signed by Commissioners Savage, Tichenal, and myself. And I'll hand this off to you, or who?
She's our secretary.
All right, and if anybody has anything they would like to say,
I would like to say a few words about my commissioner.
there you go.
Thank you.
The floor is yours.
Commissioners, I'm sure your question on your mind is, what am I doing amongst all these intelligent and caring women? Well, I pondered that question myself, and the only answer I came up with, that for once, women need a minority. And they selected a guy who was a senior citizen. That way they have two bases covered. Seriously, I want to thank you for giving us this proclamation recognizing Recovery Week in Garrett County. It is significant for us because it says that you, as our elected officials, appreciate the mission we are on and support us going forward. It tells Garrett County that our mission is an important one for the health and well-being of the community and that we all need to be involved in this solution. Your message helps us to bridge one of the biggest hurdles that we have, aside from funding, and that is overcoming stigma. In recent weeks, we have been blessed to have many new volunteers stepping forward because they have heard about us and appreciate the need we are fulfilling. Among those stepping forward are a number of women who are in recovery and see the need to help others as they were themselves helped. I will let them introduce themselves to you later. Commissioner Edwards, you may recognize some of them from the health fair the other day because they were there working very diligently and making a wonderful showing for us, and we very much appreciate their efforts. I would share with you something that shows that we are doing what we are doing crosses many lines of our community. This event was unsolicited by us, but overwhelmed us just the same. I received 2 emails offering not only to send a team of walkers to our recovery week on May the 13th, but also to provide financial donations from their membership. The 2 organizations are the Garrett County Republican Women's Club and the Garrett County Democratic Club. This speaks for itself. In closing, I want to thank 2 other people who have been very helpful in your office in our cause. I'm referring, of course, to Kevin Knoll, who has been very helpful in guiding us in certain areas, which we really appreciate, and also to Carol Riley Alexander, who has also been very kind and helpful. I want to invite each of you to come join us on May the 13th. We have 2 routes. If you don't feel like doing the 2.6 miles, we have a shorter one that's only a mile, and it's not quite as steep, so however you're inclined. But I would tell you, we are expecting a large contingent of Garrett County folks, and we're also expecting a contingent from Allegheny County teams coming up to support us as well. So with that, one other thing. What's that? Oh, this is my alter ego back here. We have vendors who will be there as well. But I want to acknowledge 2 people.
And a DJ.
And a DJ.
And a DJ.
Oh God, we got his picture plastered all over our Facebook page. He's a good man, thank you. But I wanted to acknowledge 2 people who we would not be standing here today but for their efforts of pushing my ass along. And it's this lady right here, Sadie Liller, and Ruth Beitzel. Ruth can't be with us today, but both of those women have been very supportive of me and kept pushing me along. Come on, Tom, we can get this done. So I want to extend my thanks to you all and to them as well. Thank you.
Takes us all, Tom. For you.
That's true. Thank you.
All right, if we can get a couple pictures here.
Which one do we look at?
Right now.
Let's look at the clock.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Ooh, it's warm.
We'll get warmer.
Thank you, Tom. Yep.
All right, and Connor, I'll have you come up. I think you're involved in this next one.
Sir.
And I'll just turn it over to you.
All right, excellent. Thank you so much, Paul. Again, folks, my name is Connor Norman. I'm the Business Development Specialist here with Garrett County Government. I actually brought some notes today, Paul. I'm trying to sound smarter as I do these. Also trying not to leave out crucial details. Anyway, it's my distinct pleasure to help introduce some great organizations that meet milestones. I want to tell you all a bit about our milestone program that's designed to recognize local businesses and organizations that reach those noteworthy heights in our community. We finally like to call it celebrating your big moments as you reach them. Today is no exception of that, of course. Today we're celebrating 40 years of Garrett County Habitat for Humanity. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome Steve, their director, and their board here today, and many of their supporters as they've come out to, again, celebrate 40 years, which is a huge milestone to them. I believe they've got their 85th house that they'll be breaking ground on here. And of course, the hundreds and thousands of people that have benefited, of course, from their great organization. Steve, I'm going to have you come on up here. I want to tell you a few things. As we were putting together this proclamation, I came across one in our records, well, Carol did, from 1999, where you guys were celebrating 16 years. So if you guys want to check that out, we've got it. But anyway, speaking of that, we're happy to have you here for 40 years. And I'm going to turn it over to these gentlemen. Do you guys have anything to say?
men of few words.
I thought he was turning it over to Steve.
I will say, and then we'll read the proclamation, but thank you guys for all of your work. You know, at this time in particular, when affordable housing is such a big topic nationwide, you guys have been helping fill that void for 40 years now in Garrett County, all over the county, in every town and areas in between. And with the significant help, obviously, and buy-in from the community as they support your organization and mission. And with that, on April 18th, 2023, the Board of Garrett County Commissioners said in a commendation to Garrett County Habitat for Humanity for their 40th anniversary, we, the Board of Garrett County Commissioners, and the citizens of Garrett County are happy to join together to extend our sincerest congratulations to Garrett County Habitat for Humanity on its 40th anniversary. We wish to convey our deepest appreciation to this organization, its volunteers, families, and staff who have worked diligently with its ongoing mission to eliminate impoverished housing and homelessness in Garrett County. Congratulations to the Garrett County Habitat for Humanity on this milestone and the exemplary work and professionalism of the past 40 years. May these years be an inspiration for the success ahead. Signed by Commissioners Tichenal, Savage, and myself. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. If anybody has anything to say.
Yeah, I just want to say that it's important that we know, or that the community knows, we're not a giveaway program. Everybody earns their house. Everybody pays for their house. Everybody pays taxes. They pay their own insurance. They do put a lot of sweat equity into the program, 250 hours. So we are not a giveaway program. Our secret really is that you get a 0% interest mortgage for 30 years, which roughly translates to about $150,000 in savings over the course of the 30 years. So that's really our secret, and people get to know their house. They get to see their house before it's built. How many of you would like to know where the plumbing and the wires were in your house before you had a major accident? So that's part of our process, and we're happy to be here, happy to be part of the team in the county.
And people don't want me to know where it is, because that's usually where the accidents happen. Okay, you guys, I volunteered, and you guys should be free.
Yep, thank you.
So we'll cram in here and get a photo.
Hey.
Great, thanks guys so much.
Yep, thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Everybody's good. Thank you.
Thanks, bud. Thanks, sir.
Yep, thank you. Talk to you later.
Yep.
It's Cindy going.
Yes.
All right, this time, the next item on the agenda, I'm going to turn it over to Cindy Sharon from Financial Services Department to talk about ARC proposed projects.
We were very pleased to receive several requests for consideration of Appalachian Regional Commission funding. I'll just give a brief summary very quickly, and then I'll give an opportunity for presentations. We received a request from Chrissy Marucci from HubZone Council Incorporated for its workforce program. They were requesting $75,000 in funding. And also, we received a request from Dr. Toy Hirschman from Entree Ed for its Center for Youth Entrepreneurship Maryland program, requesting $75,000. And then also, we received from Amy Jones with Garrett County Lighthouse a request for funding for supportive services infrastructure update in the amount of $50,000, and also an IT modernization initiative requesting $25,000, and also with its office equipment supply and furnishings, a request for $14,125. And we're very pleased that these organizations have submitted are going to be submitting requests for funding. And I'm going to have Amy Jones, I think, come up if you don't mind, and to just provide a brief summary for just a few minutes.
Sure, okay. So I have a PowerPoint on a flash drive. Is that okay, Kevin?
Yep.
Or... And I also have hard copies because sometimes technology is not my strong point.
Thank you.
You can always start while they're getting
Okay. Okay. So the Garrett County Lighthouse, I just wanted to provide a small overview. Not a lot of people know what we do there or who we are. And so we are a small nonprofit. We've been here since 1992 in Garrett County. So we provide mental health services to the vulnerable population in Garrett County. So adults and soon to be children who suffer from severe and persistent mental illness. So our services are designed to help the clients with their community functioning in a home-like environment and in the community. So one of our big goals is we envision a future where people with mental illness can engage in their own decision making, they can make informed choices, and they can do all that without the fear of stigma, the mental health stigma. So in our facility, we have 5 programs. We have PRP programs, and they are, we have an adult PRP program, we have an adolescent, soon to be adolescent program, we're literally waiting on the license, so I put my hands on it. We have a crisis program, we have a residential program, and we have a non-emergency medical transport program. So PRP for adults is a day program. They come to our facility, they receive the services that they need. We help with, social services kind of things. They have a case manager that helps them apply for their medical insurance, possibly housing, help with their housing. We take them to doctor's appointments. We've helped with, getting them to their therapy appointments, that kind of stuff. Residential is actually, we have 2 facilities in the county where adults live. We have a female house and we have a male house, and each house houses 3 individuals, and they get a little more support there. Still independent, still home-like, but they receive 8 hours of a staff person there that can help them with their goals and help them learn some of those, independent living skills, help them in the community. They take them shopping, they do outings, that kind of thing, in hopes that they can be, when they enter the community, that they can do that with the supports and the services and that they need. The non-emergency medical transport is kind of new for us. We contract that through the health department, and we provide trips to the doctor, to therapy. We take individuals clear to Hopkins. We go to Baltimore, we go to Frederick, we go to Hagerstown. We run every day to the methadone clinic in Allegheny County to help individuals that need that. And then the psychiatric rehabilitation program for minors, we're literally waiting on a license. So soon we'll be able to accept kids ages 15 to 18, and then they can transition into our adult program, and they'll receive the same services. A little different because we'll work with families at that point and not just the individual, but we'll be able to help with all of those things. So in the structure, we have the 4 facilities. We have our main building, which is the one in the picture previously, 20 East Oak Street. That's where we have our adult program. That's where our child program will be. That's where all our administrative offices are. Then in our auxiliary buildings, the building right beside that, you might have seen that in the paper a few weeks ago, we had a ribbon cutting ceremony. That's our crisis facility. So that's where individuals can go and be referred when they need care 24 hours a day, 7 days a week when they're in a crisis. We have the male house and we have the female house. And then so the next slide shows a little bit more of our structure. So we're small, we're pretty small. So we have about 35 employees. We fluctuate, 34, 35. And then our employees are broke out there by the programs. So in the purple slice there is a little bigger, but we have a janitor, we have a cook, all of our directors, all of our managers, our HR, our finance, they all make up that slice. But the orange one there, that's our adult program. So we have 9 direct service for that adult program. They're the ones on the ground, they're the ones driving, they're the ones holding classes and doing the case management and stuff like that. And then it'll be the same in crisis, the number 7 there. Those individuals float, that facility's open 24/7. So those are our biggest programs. So how we stay afloat is we bill Maryland Medicaid for the services that we provide. So in order to be a client at Garrett County Lighthouse, you have to receive some form of state insurance. So, and then for the NEMT program, we bill the Garrett County Health Department for that. So 60% of our income comes from the state of Maryland. Optum is the ASO for them. Then we have NEMT. We receive very few donations. I went clear back researching in prep for today, and I cannot find grant funds that aren't associated to the adolescent program since 1992. So we receive very few donations. We get from the Civic Club, from United Way, little ones. And then we have the USDA reimbursement for food that we provide to clients. So that makes up a very small percent of our budget as well. So in our adult program, we have 63 clients. The enrollment's down a little. We like to keep that number between 80 and 90, but COVID has caused a lot of issues with getting clients and keeping them. Residential crisis facility houses 4 individuals at a time, and I'm happy to report that has been full, really full. RRP, we have 5 individuals in our RRP facility. That's our residential facility right now, but we can house 6. And the non-emergency medical transport, they take about 36 individual rides a week. So those couple individuals are very busy. So our expenses break down like, everybody else's. Salaries is the 90% of our budget, but I wanted to draw attention to the smallest 2 things, which are our supplies and our client activities. There's just not enough funds at the end of the day to provide many client activities or new supplies. So that's the purpose of that. So then I just threw in my 2 ARC requests, which are now 3. And the third one isn't included in my slideshow, just as a little. And then I can't leave without drawing attention to our accomplishments. So we have a Share the Warmth campaign that we do every year in Garrett County. We work with Spencer, the mayor in Friendsville, and he allows us to place some totes in Friendsville, and we place them here in the town parking lot. And that's where individuals can go and they can get blankets and scarves and hats and coats for during the winter time. And we fill those buckets weekly. We fill them a lot. That program's really utilized, and that's all. We receive those all by donation, and we just maintain those. We have our Safe Harbor ribbon cutting. We have our treasure chest lady there. We have a little store that operates in our facility for our clients specifically, where they're offered items, household items, toothpaste and dish liquid and little knick-knacky things at a very discounted price so that they can afford those things. And then, of course, crafts, and that client specifically wanted to be in the slideshow. So, and then the next slide are just some client comments. I won't read those to you, but they just help to validate that, the clients really appreciate the support that we give them. One says we make them be able to laugh again. They love that they can have rides places and they get to go on outings, and just the friendships that they make there at the lighthouse. And then there's some more client comments. And then just the last slide is just a few more photos of our clients and some of the things that they do. We've had a prom for them, you know, the field trips. We helped another client with her volunteer efforts with Heart. The veterans come out and spend Veterans Day. We had the Christian Motorcycle Association out and did a ride past and stopped and talked with the clients about the motorcycles and the maintenance and the commitment and the brotherhood. And so that's just a little presentation of what Garrett County Lighthouse does and what we're all about, and to show that we really appreciate the support that we've received so far, and it would be great if we could continue to do these things. Thank you.
Thank you.
As I had mentioned, Dr. Tori Hirschman from Entree Ed has a project for Center for Youth Entrepreneurship, Maryland. I don't see her in the audience right now, so I'll just give a brief summary. The National Consortium for Entrepreneurship Education, and that's referred to as Entree Ed, is seeking funding to partner with several organizations in Appalachian, Maryland, including the Garrett County Arts Council, the Washington County Arts Council, and Garrett County Public Schools. And together they aim to establish a network that supports the entrepreneurship and STEM education. The grant will establish a successful mapping project to track student progress and gain insights into their successes and challenges. This project will lead to the development of the first Center for Youth Entrepreneurship and STEM, which will operate out of 3 facilities in Western Maryland: the Smart Art facility in Garrett County, the Western Maryland Works in Allegheny County, and the Barbara Ingram School for the Arts in Washington County. Additional support will be provided by Garrett County Public Schools through their first robotics team and district-wide technology initiative. They mean their project to reach ARC Investment Goal 2, Building Appalachia's Workforce Ecosystem, State Objective 2.1, Support and Promote Educational Programs, and State Strategy 2.11, Expend and Support the P-TECH model in K-12 STEM programs. So, and then, and finally, we have a submission from Christine Marucci from Hub Zone Council Incorporated. Is she here? Okay, all right.
I know you guys are really going to quite sit the so I'll have to pass it out. My name is Michelle Burnett, and I'm the Executive Director of the Hub Zone Contractors National Council and the President of Hub Zone Council League.
Thank you.
The Hub Zone Council collectively is 2 organizations. One's a 501c6, one's a 501c3. We are the largest national organization that was formed over 20 years ago that advocates on behalf of the Hub Zone program. Over the years, we've developed a vast network of industry and government contacts. Our membership includes some of the largest and leading industry experts in basically the GovCon world. So basically a lot more than that. So we've been working, we are a member-based organization, and we have representatives that cross in every state, U.S. territory, across nation basically. In 2019, we were constantly, one of the biggest obstacles, who in here is familiar with the Hub Zone program? Just hello? Okay. So basically, it's government contracting. It's all about facilitating job creation, economic growth in historically underrepresented communities. Garrett County, the county as a whole, is a qualified Hub Zone. It's actually what you can consider the first company that was ever certified in this federal contracting program was right here in Garrett County, and that is Garrett Containers. So in 2019, we launched a nonprofit, Hub Zone Council Inc., in order to really focus on what this program is about. It's about job creation. A lot of times we forget about that. And one of the biggest obstacles businesses face is maintaining the compliance standards, because when companies participate in this program, they not only have to position their company in one of these historically underdeveloped communities, but they have to hire 35% of their staff from those communities. Well, that's what they're supposed to do. So, but that's also very difficult for companies to do. So in 2019, we launched the 501c3 in order to really focus our efforts on the job creation. Since doing that, we've actually been able to help a lot of people in Garrett County secure full-time employment. Kim I don't know if you know this, if you remember talking to Hive Group, she had referred a business to me because she had questions about the HubZone program. She's like, yeah, I'm just gonna send her over here. She's kind of the expert, you know. So, because I have been working for the HubZone companies for about 14 years. People still try to do the math, but it was one of my first jobs. So I think one of the longest standing and leading experts in the entire program. But, so I called the company and she's like, I don't know if Garrett County is gonna be right. I love vacationing there, but I don't know if they're gonna be able to provide the resources I need for my company. But after talking to us, this woman was, felt confident, developing with our workforce program and things like that, that she was gonna get the resources. She's moved here, and thanks to a lot of help from this little lady over here, who has helped secure 3 full-time jobs. They've hired 14 interns, and you'll be happy to know 3 of those interns, when they graduate in a month, have already gotten full-time job positions. And that's thanks to our workforce program, which I'm gonna tell you we have 0 funding about. It's just because we have, we can't tell people no, and we like to help people. So that's the reason why we're looking at this. So rather than me rambling on, I just wanted to let her kickstart over her about what we're trying to do. But the further details are in that.
There's a whole packet there for you. There's presentation.
I don't want you guys to
We can talk anytime about it as well. So the idea is to develop a program to support those federal contractors. There are specific jobs that go along with federal contracting. So it's teaching those positions, proposal writing. It's a huge one. Everybody needs accounting help, but they don't necessarily need the major background. If they can be trained specifically for those jobs, it kind of works out. We would do it, quarterly live training events, on-demand webinars, self-study, and we would do mixed media format for delivery. Would have everything from intro courses, intermediate courses, and the advanced courses for the federal contract staffing that is already here to kind of expand on what they already know, to get them higher paying positions and to keep them in Garrett County. Everything's done online. I currently work with 4 companies and kind of keep them staffed. We have an internship program. But we've been working on it for the past, like she said, 3 years. We want to bring employment opportunities to the residents that, like I said, are remote.
Essentially, we want to upskill the individuals to increase their probability to getting job placements, because we can't really secure with federal contracting. It's not like people just, you can get the core fundamentals, but we want to increase the probability for individuals considering why these individuals. And given our national presence, if somebody goes through a boot camp that is already pre-vetted by us, it's going to be recognized and people are going to be more likely to hire those individuals. So it puts Garrett County on the forefront. Not only, again, we can't guarantee that these people will get hired, but if they go through this, but we can guarantee that you're going to get national recognition, because we aren't doing this anywhere else. It's a lot easier for us because we're from here. I'm going to tell you right now, most people think I have a typo on my card, and they think it's Oakland, California. So this is national recognition for Garrett County. We've already proven that we can get people to come into this town. We've already proven that we can get people to hire these individuals. Now imagine if we were able to upskill them in areas that is specific to what we know that they need. So it would be just county, it would be DCA compliant county. That's what's going to lead them into those sustainable jobs instead of people just hiring them for 40 hours in a month. One of our student interns that Chrissy is working with right now is in the crowd. So the proof is in the pudding. We know that we can make this work. We're already doing it, but we have 0 funding. So it makes it very difficult for us, because a lot of people look at us and they're like, oh, you're a recruiter, and we want to help those people, but we're very limited on what we can do. So that's what we're basically going for.
We're a staff of 3.
Yeah. And we're not recruiters, but we're going to use the funding to bring in our top leading industry experts, get the people to come out to Garrett County, start providing those trainings. And we have buy-in because they will do it for us, but we can't expect them to pay for all those travels and everything like that. So that's what we're really asking for, so we can provide those level of skill sets and upskill these kids. And actually not just students. We want to be able to get people that are looking for full-time jobs or people that are being significantly underpaid right now to get them into better jobs. That's the goal. Cool?
Right.
Don't worry, we're not trying to get them to leave. We are focusing on teleworking jobs. We want them to stay here. We want their taxes, right?
Thank you, Cindy, and everyone else as well. Just a couple of announcements before we take any public comments or questions, and then when we adjourn, we'll go right into the budget presentations. Tonight's budget presentations are the Garrett County Chamber of Commerce and Garrett College. Let me remind everybody that there will be no questions directed to the individual budget presenters. So once public comment ends in the regular meeting before we adjourn, that's when all the public comments and questions will need to be received. I do want to mention that we are making some proposed amendments to the Garrett County's off-road vehicle ordinance. You may recall that I believe we were the first county to allow ATVs to be registered and licensed to run on county roads. Other counties have since modeled our program, and because of that, the state changed the state law last year with a couple of amendments, which in relation to us, these are the two main ones. Our ordinance, our initial ordinance, was limited to 2 miles that these vehicles could travel and did not include, for lack of a better word, dirt bikes. The state law change does allow off-road motorcycles and move the limit to 5 miles. And just a little backdrop of why, if you think of certain areas that we have, we never had ATV trails before until recently. Now we have 2 major ones, one in Finsel, St. John's Rock, and one in Kitzmiller, which is Wolf Den, which is becoming much more popular really regionally. And a lot of people will take private trails, and then the only way to get from those trails to those state trails is on a county road. So the 5 mile limit specifically was for Wolf Den because where one parcel ends to where the other parcel begins is 5 miles. So that bridges that gap. I just had a phone conference today with the Maryland OHV Association President, James Rotano from Carroll County, I believe. He is doing a lot of advocacy work on behalf of Garrett County to try to extend these trails and tie into much bigger networks that can really assist us in making our attraction to people who do this. And when these people travel, they travel big and they spend a lot of money. They make weekend trips, week trips. These aren't, I'm going to go out for 2 hours and be done. They're spending the night, multiple nights. They're eating in our restaurants. They're buying gas. They're doing all those things. And they've been a great advocate, and I want to publicly state that. They've been very helpful in working with DNR to try to expand some trails on existing land. They're working right now with the Army Corps of Engineers around Jennings-Randolph area to try to tie into some areas in West Virginia, which would be big for us. So some exciting things there, but we are going to make that change, or at least we're proposing that change. So if you have thoughts on that, you can contact us. There will be a hearing at our meeting on May the 1st, which we always do in advance of changing ordinances, so be on the lookout for that. The constant yield hearing, we've talked a lot about that recently. So that is basically the tax, the property tax hearing will be also on Monday, the May 1st, at the meeting on Monday, May 1st. Say that 5 times fast. And that obviously is our next scheduled public meeting. So at the meeting on the 1st, constant yield, a hearing on the proposed amendments to the OHV ordinance, and budget presentations tonight from the Chamber of Commerce and Garrett College. Then there'll be a budget presentation scheduled after that, where with the comprehensive budget, so that everybody can see where all the money's going and make comments and so on and so forth. There'll be a hearing on that, and then we'll approve the budget in June. Any questions or comments from the audience?
In general, or about that? Because that sounds fun.
In general.
You always get me with that,
In-
because you say it at the end of a sentence, and I don't know if you're opening it up or
We
we're
would
just
love
talking
to
out
hear
loud.
anything you have to say, Monique.
Actually, I do have a comment.
Sure.
So the last meeting that I came to, I had asked you guys a question about affordable housing. Funny how we always get there, right? And when I left the meeting, there was a side conversation about what's the magic number, right? Like, what's the magic number for making a house affordable in Garrett County? And then there was a side conversation about inventory. So I just wanted to share, it made me think a little bit further about affordable housing in the county and made me do a little bit of research. And what I uncovered pretty quickly was that the thought process for the person I was having the conversation with was really more around, like, we need more like houses that aren't mega mansions in the Lake District, but maybe more around like the 300 to 350 range, and that really surprised me in the conversation. So I looked up what our inventory is, because to me it's an inventory issue along with an affordability issue. So in that range, where I think we could find maybe more rental and selling opportunities, the 125 to 250 range, at the end of March, we only had 14 houses in inventory. Yet that represents 68% of our population can afford that range. You go up to that next range, say 250 to 500, and there were almost 40 houses. I think it was 38 on the day that I looked, right? Inventory changes. So I just wanted to ask the question, like, I know that there's a lot of work going into determining where, when, and how we'll address this issue. Is the county today looking at any particular range or demographic that has been identified either through prior surveys or studies as the sweet spot to where we need to really improve our inventory? That was a long question, I apologize.
That was a long question.
But I wanted you to have the background.
It's a great question, and I think that's one, and and I'll let Commissioner Tichenor answer that question, because he's the one that, when we last met with some representatives and talking about that range, he's the one that hammered that point. But the funny thing is, with affordable housing, it's all relative, right? I mean, what's affordable to me is not affordable to you, is not affordable to somebody else, and so on and so forth. So it's you know, when you get to median income and what banks will lend and what they'll say falls within a certain demographic of who can afford what we have come up with, and with the partners that we've been working with on trying to increase stock in that range. Commissioner?
Well, I think at the last meeting, I said, to me, affordable housing for the majority of people in Garrett County is probably in the 150 range. And you know, when you get up to $200,000, $300,000, you're way out of range for the average person in Garrett County. And when I say the average person, somebody making $40,000 to $50,000, you know, they're going to have to, at least in my opinion, they're going to have to be in the 150 range. And a lot of contractors right now will tell you that that's not possible, and I think it is. It's not a mansion by any means, but a 2 or 3 bedroom home, I think in that range, I think can be in that range. We've worked on a program now, we're working on a program where we're going to help with the roads and the utilities, try to take that off the contractor's plate, if you will, and make it affordable, make it to where they can afford that. And one of the ways I think we can entice contractors to do that is to give them 4 or 5 homes in an area, or maybe 8 or 10 homes in an area, where they can concentrate on just that. And maybe draw a couple of these contractors away from the lake. Yes, ma'am.
Is there any discussion about rentals? Because renting is not really prevalent here, which really inhibits our growth with the younger generation after they're getting out of college. Because that 150,000, that's with the understanding of somebody having a sustainable job over time, been able to save and being able to get that 20% down. So, you know, you have to take that into consideration. So most younger generation is gonna rent. We don't have any rentals. So,
And that's a good point, but also, in my opinion, just my opinion, if we can help a young couple into a home of their own rather than to throw money away on rentals.
I just mean from the workforce perspective. Like obviously, like I support that because it's the
You know,
place, but we need people to work.
Because when you start out and you're renting, it's hard to put money back. It's hard to, it's hard to do that. So I think we, as a group here, are trying to work with some of the banks, and see if there's some programs or something that we can help young couples, or any couple, it doesn't matter what their age is really, but especially young couples that's getting started. Chances are good they don't have a nest egg laid back to put 20% down or whatever. So these are the things we need to look at, and that we are looking at. So that's my opinion. I mean, I'm not saying it's Paul and Ryan's opinion, but that's my opinion. And I really think that the 150 range can be.
It can be done.
It can be done, yes.
I appreciate your commitment to that. And I just want to say this outright here. I do think, I live in McHenry, right? I love the Lake District. I don't have anything against it. I'm there all the time. But I do think some of the folks who are my neighbors get concerned that it's not doable. And the reason I keep bringing it up at these meetings is because I hope that you understand it is doable. We can do this. I truly believe that we can build housing that the people in our community who live here can afford. Like, so that's I just want to make sure we're staying focused on it and that we can see, like, it is the majority of our population who falls in that range that needs affordable housing under $200,000. I'm glad you said 150. You went a little lower than I would have. So
Well, I think the important thing to mention here, as we've talked a lot about this in the last year, really, is I think it's the vision of this board, and anyone can speak up if they disagree, that we are going to take an all of the above approach, which does include rentals in some case. We've identified 3 areas, one in the north, one in the center, and one in the south, that we think we have good partners with, that we can do the things that legally we're allowed to do with them, to build out projects that, the one in the McHenry area in particular will be probably more heavily revolve around some quality rentals, that seems to be somewhat of a little more transient community because of the nature of the work there, for people to be close to where they are going to work. Not that we don't need those in different places. And, everything from single family homes to condos to townhouses where they fit in the projects that we're working with our partners. I think the range that we're trying to stay within is 150 to 225. And somewhere in that vicinity, in the conversations we've had with the builders and the project managers, they seem to think they can fit that in. It is an all hands on deck approach, as so many groups now, and even the towns are getting involved in this. There are so many people focusing on this that there probably will be other projects pop up that are done differently in different areas based on the partners involved with those particular projects. You know, there is, and just so everybody understands, there are limitations of what county government can do. And it's unfortunate if we have a builder that comes to us and says, we'd like to do X, and it's a private business, it's hard for us to, for lack of a better term, funnel money to a private business to do something. It's a lot easier to work with municipalities and expand, as Commissioner Tichenal says. What we can do is we can expand infrastructure. That's a general function of business, of government. So we are focusing on that because there are less constraints for that, and that is a major cost when you work with developers in trying to pull that off of them. So
I promise I'll shut up after this. Do you guys want from different types of development companies, different concepts? Because obviously, especially on the West Coast, a lot of the businesses within our network have developed unique models that, you know, solve housing crises that can happen in like Texas and things like that. Do you guys want concepts like that to be brought to you, or no? I mean,
well, I think we're open to anything that makes sense. I know that's not a direct answer, but I think,
like, I could send you guys different links if you want.
you know, any creative solutions to the problem from anywhere, I think would be welcome. Len.
Yeah, I'd like to thank you also for your answer and your commitment. And you know, from the petitioning we were doing several months ago at the county fair on, you know, the petition was to raise the transfer tax, to put more money into the first-time homebuyers program, transfer tax on high-dollar houses. I mean, we saw, you know, very broad consensus, you know, in line with what Monique is addressing in terms of that price point and the price point that Larry addressed. So you know, I'm very certain you have the support of the community very broadly in resisting people that would, forces that would try to say, try to keep pushing up that price. I just want to thank you also. I think it's important to focus on the real needs of the community.
Yeah, thank you all. I mean that, honestly. Like, I come to as many of these meetings as I can, and so far you've been steadfastly focused, and I really do appreciate it.
But it's certainly an identified need, and again, I can't emphasize enough that it is a broad approach. It's more than just let's pick this piece of property and do X. It really is countywide. It's multiple levers. It's helping get the houses built, but it's also trying to help on the financing side. It's trying, you know, it's a multi-prong approach is what we're attempting to do. And I think you'll see that, and we'll continue to talk about it and talk about where we are. The first project that we're advancing is the Grantsville project on Springs Road. We have talked with some people in Oakland and more recently in Mountain Lake Park. You know, and unfortunately not every project we're going to be able to help because of those constraints that we have, but I think we've moved the needle on all of the discussions that we've had. So, you know, hopefully a journey of 1,000,000 miles begins with a single step, and sometimes the government work grinds slow. So, you know, it's unfortunate we can't come into every meeting and say, well, we're doing this now, be on the lookout, you'll see shovels in the dirt. It may be months before we see something move, but the groundwork's being laid.
Well, that's for months. That's freaking awesome.
Yeah, that's light speed in the government world. So more to come on that. Any other questions or comments about anything?
Anything?
Yeah.
How was your day?
Yeah.
AATVs, 5 miles is great. Vote yes.
All right. If there are no other comments, we will take a motion to adjourn. All right, meeting adjourned, and we will now start with the budget presentations, which are public if anyone would want to stick around. And first up is the Garrett County Chamber of Commerce. Everybody's leaving, Will. Thanks, Amy.
Thank you. Yeah.
No, it's open to the public, but you are free to leave.
Please leave.
All right, it's all yours. What's that?
Kevin, you have the...
Yep, you want that up first?
Kind of
okay.
Give you some background, but good afternoon, and thank you for providing me this opportunity to talk about the Garrett County Chamber of Commerce and our fiscal year 2024 request. We've enjoyed a long-standing relationship with the county and the Board of Commissioners, and we're grateful for your past support and hope that we are a great partner for the county. We strive to be. I know all of you here are familiar with the chamber activities in general, but I just want to give you a brief overview of the activities that are kind of dependent on the county funding and what the county funding allows us to do. We are a very unique chamber of commerce. We're not like a traditional chamber of commerce. It's a different model we have, but I think it's one that works very well. We serve as a destination marketing organization for the county, and we are the managing entity of the Mountain Maryland Gateway to the West Heritage Area. So for this presentation, I'll be focusing on the Chamber's activities with the DMO and Heritage area. We are the Garrett County Chamber of Commerce. We're the largest professional business association in the county. We have nearly 500 member firms representing every sector of industry in the region. We're governed by a 15-member voluntary board of directors and have supported by a professional staff of 9, 7 of whom are full-time and 2 are part-time. The Chamber also serves as the Convention and Visitors Bureau and destination marketing organization for the county. We help attract more than 1.4 million visitors to the county per year. We operate the Visitors Center in McHenry, and that Visitors Center is open every day with the exception of Thanksgiving, Christmas Day, New Year's Day, and Easter. The Chamber of Commerce was formed to organize, support, and represent Garrett County's business community in advancing common interests and to promote Garrett County's hospitality and recreation industry by attracting visitors to the county through comprehensive marketing. As the DMO for the county, the overarching goal of the Chamber is to make the area one of the premier tourism destinations in the Mid-Atlantic. And again, our mission is supporting Garrett County's business community and promoting the county's hospitality and recreation industry by attracting visitors to the county. So there are a number of ways that we promote the county. Thanks to your generous support, we have a very aggressive marketing campaign to bring people to the county through mixed media. We do television ads, radio ads, print ads, billboards, social media, and much, much more. So we're always looking at new avenues to attract people to the county and to get people aware of all the great things we have to offer here. We also produce the visitors guides, the activities guides, and the Autumn Glory Festival brochures. And we host the Fire on the Mountain every 4th of July, which is the fireworks celebration for our Independence Day. The next slide here, just reflects some of the benefits. I'm sorry, if you could go back one. Some of the benefits of our efforts, kind of the fruits of our labor. As you'll note, we have 1.4 million visitors per year. They generate almost $350 million in visitor spending, and visitors to the county had an economic impact of over $360 million, and they support approximately 4,000 jobs. Our county's tourism website, visitdeepcreek.com, receives about 600,000 unique visitors every year, so that's quite a number. And our county tourism advertising generates over 12,000 Garrett County visitor guide requests annually. So some people, moving to the next slide, we'll hear that people believe that we're just focused on Deep Creek Lake. And it is our job to support and promote the entire county, and that's what we do. And just wanted to make a note of something that we started this past October, our Small Town Trail program. And this is a promotion that encourages people to visit all the small towns throughout the county. We do this advertising both in county and out of county. So, one of the things we'll do is we'll have advertisements at the movie theater so that if folks are visiting Deep Creek for a visit, they go to see a movie and then they can say, hey, oh wow, look at Kitzmiller, I think I want to go check that out. So, we're aggressively promoting that, and we've gotten a good response from folks inside the county and out. So I encourage people too, if you have an opportunity, to look at our website and read up about the Small Town Trail, and then more importantly, I hope you'll go and take the time to visit the towns in person. Next. So the Chamber is also the designated managing entity for Mountain Maryland Gateway to the West Heritage Area. So the Heritage Area is assisted by a Heritage Area Advisory Board, which has its own marketing committee. And again, thanks to support from the county, we're able to promote our cultural and historical treasures and bring visitors to see the heritage sites throughout Garrett County. So the goal of Mountain Maryland Gateway to the West Heritage Area is to enhance the economic activity in Western Maryland by combining quality heritage tourism and small business development with preservation, cultural and natural conservation, and education. This slide shows some of the outdoor recreation projects that the Mountain Maryland Gateway to the West has supported, and also you'll see that it's created over $156 million in economic impact for Garrett County. Then to the next, just here again, these are some additional items in terms of the economic benefits of heritage tourism. And just as an aside, folks that are heritage tourists tend to stay longer. They spend about 60% more per trip on average. And just in general, they're kind of more deliberate in their visits, so it's a good, great people to bring into the county, and we're blessed with so many cultural and historical treasures that it's just another great opportunity for the county. I also want to mention that we have a new Heritage Area magazine coming out this May. This will include all the must-have information like things to do, state parks, museums, our heritage area themes, and a map. And it'll also share some of the history of Garrett County and just talk about how the county got started and how it's become such the tourism destination that it is today. And then another thing that we're thrilled to announce is the addition of a new county coin, a commemorative coin. I know this past year at the sesquicentennial celebration, those coins were a huge hit. We're going to do another one this year, and because Garrett County has so many things to celebrate, I think we could keep doing one every year. But the coin this year will be the county collector coin for 2023 will celebrate the National Road in Grantsville, and that is also open to the public. The design of the coin is, so if anybody is interested in trying to submit something, you have until May 1st to do so, and you can learn more about that on the Heritage website, which you can get to through the Chamber's website. So I guess next, so just kind of in closing, as a result of inflation, we have seen significant increases in our operational costs and in the costs of advertising. In order to sustain our impactful investments in tourism advertisement, we are requesting an increase of $125,000 over our FY23 appropriation, which will be used specifically for tourism promotion. This additional funding will help offset the inflationary increases we've experienced, as well as the anticipated decrease in the state formulaic funding we get from the DMOs receive. So just as essentially, our appropriation for 2023 was the same as it was in FY19, and as you know, just the cost of everything has gone up, and so as the operating costs for us expand, the amount of resources we have for direct advertising is getting squeezed. So we are hoping for an increase so that we can continue to sustain that funding, so that we can continue to bring in people and generate revenue for the county. Unfortunately, the state of Maryland does not invest as much money in tourism promotion as our neighboring states, so it makes it a little bit more difficult to compete, but it also makes the money that you invest in tourism promotion that much more impactful and appreciated. So in closing, I just want to note that we do in fact pay for ourselves through a tax on visitors with the accommodations tax, but additionally, aside from bringing in accommodations tax revenue, we are bringing in visitors who are fueling the small businesses that are the backbone of our economy, and so it's I think a win-win all the way around. I thank you again for this opportunity. Thank you for your service and the great working relationship we have. And if there's any questions.
Any questions for Will? Thank you. Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
All right, Garrett College, you're up.
I did want to mention Dallas Wallett, our Chief Fiscal Officer, Dean of Business and Finance, is also here to answer questions. And I want to thank Dallas she leads our efforts in the annual budget preparation process. One of the things that you may recall, back in 2019, the commissioners asked Garrett College to move to a 5-year strategic plan so that the county could have more insight over a long-term our needs, and to be able to judge which ones could be fulfilled and which ones couldn't. In addition to that, though, internally, we decided to make that strategic plan basically our entire guiding document when it came to how we operated over a 5-year period. Kevin, do you have the PowerPoint?
Yep, bring it up here in a second.
Great, thank you. And so one of the things that you'll note, the 5-year strategic plan, we are just starting year 4. And one of the things that I'd like to take a little bit of time is to talk about what we've accomplished through it and what we plan to accomplish as we move through the 4th and 5th years of this plan. And also we will start, and Dallas and I were talking about this as we were waiting. It's hard to believe when you do a 5-year plan, wow, okay, so that's done for a while. So we'll be starting next year to plan the next 5 years.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe.
Well, that's why Marcia made paper
All right.
copies. So I'm happy to go ahead if you'd like.
Actually, this came over as a PDF, not a PowerPoint, so let me see.
I do have the PowerPoint on a flash drive, but we were asked not to.
If you give it to me, I can probably get that on quicker for you. Okay.
Yeah, I did.
Suspense. There's a train bearing down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could you go back one slide?
slide. Okay.
Thank you. So I just want to summarize our operating request. And as you know, it's broken down to 4 areas. Our general operating request is we're requesting a 5% increase in that line. And one of the things that is a driver of this is, you know, we're in the middle of a 3-year staff and 5-year faculty compensation plan increase. And those are tied to 2 very specific things. On the staff side, it's to deal with the state increase in minimum wage, which, as you know, became even a little more time sensitive with Governor Moore's support of and the legislature's passing to move that 15-year minimum wage up a year to January 1, 2024. We are, it isn't the minimum wage that's the problem for us as much as the compression that it causes all the way up the scale. And I think we put together a pretty insightful plan on how to deal with it. And at the end of the FY25 budget process, we anticipate being where we need to be, having accounted for the state minimum wage. The second piece of that, and Paul, with your other hat, I know you're very well aware of this, the Blueprint for Maryland's Future, the Public Education Reform Initiative, is targeting a $60,000 starting teacher salary in FY26. So what we've done is try to match that in FY26 so that by that time our 5-year cycle of faculty increases will allow us to also have a $60,000 starting salary. It's critically important, particularly in an area like Garrett County, where there's only so many educators to go around, that we can be competitive to make sure that we have the faculty that we want to teach our students. We also are working through healthcare cost increases. And what we've done is we've made it a shared event. Our employees in our FY24 budget will see a 5% increase in what they pay towards our health plans, and we are putting a 10% increase into what the college is paying. And again, all of this is to try to keep our compensation package competitive so that we can recruit and retain the people that we need to provide the college that we want. The budget also includes a request for a $15,000 increase in the Phase 3 of the Garrett County Scholarship Program. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later, but I wanted to mention that. We have flat PAC funding per our MOU. And then on our capital side, we have the second year of the turf field allocation, the local piece of that, of the state local partnership. The two other items under capital requests, we have two one-time requests. One is $25,000 to fund Garrett County Foundation Athletic Feasibility Study. And this is very similar to actually what predates me, but the college administration came here in 2014 requesting county funding for a feasibility study for STEM and PAC campaigns. And the county was generous enough to fund that, and that feasibility study is what allowed us to raise over $6 million for those two projects. What we plan to do in this feasibility study is the same thing, to lay the groundwork for an athletic fundraising campaign that will do several things. One of the most critical being providing funding for replacement of the turf field when it has gone through its 10 to 12 or 14, depending on what you can get out of it, life cycle. So we're trying to plan now for the eventuality of replacing that field down the road. And then finally, the county's been very generous and helpful to us on an ongoing vehicle refresh. We finally got the two vehicles that you approved 2 years ago, where we were waiting like everybody else for vehicles to be manufactured and shipped. So it's very important to us, particularly where we are. Everything's travel for our faculty and staff. And in two of our programs that you're particularly aware of, the Old Adventure Sports Program, which is now Outdoor Leadership, and the Natural Resources and Wildlife Technology programs, do a lot of traveling around the state and the region. So that, if you put the entire request together, our request is about $28,000 over what we requested last year, about a 0.4% increase. Kevin, you can go to the next slide, and you have this in paper, but that kind of lays out by operating and capital comparison between what the county funded in FY23 and what we're requesting in FY24. Just a couple things I want to say about our budget building process. The comp plan and the health insurance, those are board approved priorities and over a multi-year initiative. Like when we started our staff and faculty plans, our board bought into the fact that these were multi-year, 3-year for the staff and 5-year for the faculty, to align with what the region requires. We start with zero-based budgeting in all non-compensation areas, and our deans, there's dean's level approval with me before draft budgets are accepted. And one of the things, tying back to our strategic plan, we require a tie between any new budget requests and our strategic plan by objective and strategy. And the Board of Trustees has reviewed our budget prior to submitting it to the county. Some of the things that, and again, tying back to the strategic plan, these are all by goal and by strategy, things that we are doing over a multi-year period. One of them, for example, we are adding a paramedic studies degree program that's hybrid. And this is from a actually multi-state initiative. We're working with Eastern West Virginia Community College and Potomac State so that we can serve some of their students with our program in a cost-effective way so that they don't have to build a new program. And in return, we have access to some of their health programming so that we can offer it to our students without the expense of building it ourselves. We've talked before about how student athletics is really important to Garrett College for twin reasons: generating that out-of-county and out-of-state tuition and fee revenue, but also most of these student athletes live in our residence hall. So one of the things that we're adding this year is women's soccer. The projection was 15 to 20 students. Right now, Brandon Jackson, our women's soccer coach, is actually projecting a little above the 20. So that's a significant enrollment increase for a college our size. We're also expanding the use of open educational resources. The OERs are basically free online resources that take the textbook costs out of the equation for most of our students in many of our courses. And then we also are increasing professional development options to support our employees' growth. Again, as part of that compensation plan, not only it's not what we're just paying your salary, it's not just your benefits, it's how we're going to develop you as an employee. Mentioned we're partnering with Potomac State and Eastern West Virginia. I think it's going to be I think there's going to be other institutions that follow this model as we build it. In fact, we have a meeting at Potomac State on Thursday. Frostburg has also, university has also gotten involved. The president of Wachek will be involved in this to see how we can do it also as 2+2s. We're also offering the Joan Crawford Lecture Series. Was brought back 2 years ago, and we're offering a lot of unique and diverse programs for communities. We've had great attendance in the Performing Arts Center for this year's series. And we're also expanding high school dual enrollment, both on the high school campuses and at our colleges. This is one of the kind of the linchpins of the blueprint, is to provide early college access. And we've got a great partnership with the public school system to do that. And as I already mentioned, the comp plan is what we are trying to use to both attract and keep high quality faculty and staff. Again, on the capital side, we're trying to leverage state and local funds. The turf field's a great example of that. And the other piece is for our infrastructure renewal, to try to make sure that we're identifying capital items, relatively smaller capital items that are not eligible for state funding, that we can put on a regular cycle for requests with the county. I do want to mention, we haven't sent, and I know you are aware of this, but just to kind of reemphasize it, we haven't just come in here asking for more money, saying, hey, we need more for compensation. Over a 3-year period, we reduced staffing by 16%, and we used some of the savings in that to fuel the first 3-year comp plan that we implemented. We think this is going to allow us to stay competitive with both the county and the school systems, and also to draw regionally outside of the county. Another thing that we've done that's relatively new, all of our academic programs are reviewed for academic rigor and student success, but we've also put a fiscal analysis now into those programs so that we can see, believe me, no education program pays for itself. That's why there's state aid and county aid, but we want to see what the differential is on that. And so I think that's been an important piece of our fiscal stewardship. And I did want to mention a couple of things. Garrett College offers a great education, not only just because of our faculty, but because of our support staff. This fall, nearly 91% of our students were in good academic standing at the end of the semester, which is the highest that it's been since we began tracking that. Same thing for spring 2023. We don't have final grades, but our midterm deficiencies were the lowest rated since we've been tracking that, and I believe the college started tracking that in 2005. So, we're doing a really good job of educating students and preparing them for the next piece of their journey. And I mentioned athletics. Our athletics continues to do well. Women's basketball won 20 games for the second year in a row, reached the region semis for the third straight year. Our men's basketball program was 19-12. We had 3 wrestlers qualify for the national tournament. I think over the first 5-year period of that program, I believe we've had 28 wrestlers qualify for nationals. So that's been And, you know, I know you all know our coaches, people like Eric Hollenbeck, and you know, they are really committed to not only turning out good programs, but student success. And finally, our community impact, as you know, the PAC is now open. We've got 5 partners who are very committed to making the best use of that facility possible. And we continue to operate the CARC as, I think, just a very high quality community initiative. You may or may not have heard, we just recently renovated both pools, and we will have new fitness equipment coming in this summer, July 1st, for the fitness center. So we are doing everything that we can to keep that wonderful facility in the shape that it should be. I did mention the phase 3 of the Garrett County Scholarship Program. I won't go over all the data, but you have it there. But these are all the things that fund has enabled this year during its first year of operations, including funding 92 people to go through these various programs, and 30 local employers are represented in that total. So I believe this is doing what the commissioners envisioned it doing, which is to prepare people for jobs in the community, but also then to help them upscale skills so that they could move higher into their careers while staying home. I do want to just again thank the commissioners for everything that you do for us. Everything from the financial funding to the work Kevin, Scott, Carol, the commissioners, you're unbelievable to work with. I think I mentioned on several occasions, I meet regularly with the other presidents around the state, and I don't think there's a county that supports their community college any better or any more fervently than you all do. So on behalf of myself, our trustees, our employees, I just want to thank you for everything you do for the college. I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Any questions? All right, great. Thank you. Thank you. All right, that concludes the budget presentations. Thanks for coming. Good night.
Get on my desk. Get out of here.